Guys, so here's our new week for you. It's going to be our second week of our benchmark testing. I did shift a couple things around just so as far as recovery, because at the end of the week we will have 150 wall balls. So benchmark workout Karen, we know sometimes that can be really taxing on the quads and we'll need multiple days, especially if you get after it, multiple days to kind of recover regardless of how much you prioritize your recovery, okay? So just know that on Monday, instead of doing Karen, we're going to have Fran, all right? That'll better suit you a little bit because it's a faster workout and it doesn't punish the body quite as bad after it. But tomorrow we have 1 rep max clean, okay? And that can be any style. We've been steering our athletes to learn and progress through the squat clean because we know that we can maximize our lift with that variation. But some athletes are still newer to that, and some people can really focus on their pulling and they have a better pull. So any style basically to get the barbell from floor to shoulder, all right? So that's how we're going to start things off, and then that'll transition nice so that they don't have to think about it too much when they're doing the thruster. But be sure, and we have it set up in the warm-up for athletes to be working on the thruster and that movement so that they're ready for overhead when it does come to be that time. And really, as far as getting people set up for this faster paced workout, so it's 21-15-9 of thruster and pull-up between the two. Some of these faster times, I mean, geez, we're seeing closer to like 2 minutes with some of the fastest times that we'll see. But we're really trying to ballpark it somewhere in that 3 to 8 minute time frame. If it's someone who's kind of working through singles immediately in that round of 21 on the pull-up bar, then we need to really think about bringing the rep scheme down to something like 15, 12, 9, all right? But this is a good day to kind of test and see where we're at with those two movements and how far that we've come. That'll bring us into Tuesday. It features kind of an open style workout, so it's an AMRAP. It's 14 minutes. Bringing back the sumo deadlift high pull, all right? So we'll be working on some extension without having to think about receiving the bar or anything like that, like in a power clean. It's written at a lightweight because there's 20 reps each round, and we're expecting to move through that a few times. It's going to be 75 pounds for the guys and 55 for the gals. Rule of thumb is to be able to do at least 10 in a row when you're fresh. You shouldn't have to think about it too much. That's kind of how light it should be. And then 40 double unders. I always say the AMRAPs are kind of the best time if you're really going to try to take a whack at double unders, but you don't quite have it. AMRAPs are good because it's in a controlled setting. No matter what, you're going to be done at some point. There's an end to it. And then we close out each round with push-ups. Probably one of the most valuable exercises that we're doing here. It kind of flies under the radar with everything that we do, but it's one of those things, if you do it well, if you hold a good push-up plank position, you keep your belly tight and everything rises at the same time, we're doing good. But if we're not doing that, we're breaking at the hip, or we start to see the hips come down and then the shoulders and then the shoulders, then the hips, we're really not getting anything out of it, okay? So follow along with the progressions that I gave you. I would have athletes do a box push-up or a bench push-up variation first before putting them on their knees so they can really understand how to connect their shoulder, belly, hip, quad, all the way to their feet so that they're doing that push-up well, okay? And if someone has the full capability of doing that but they run out of push-ups really fast, have them do 10, as prescribed push-ups and then have them go to a box, all right? Something that can keep them moving. We don't want you guys to be busting through singles in round 1 or 2, all right? Wednesday, we have a fun one. It's kind of a non-traditional rowing distance, so it's going to be one time through, chipper format. It's going to be a 1,200 meter row for both guys and gals, so it's a little bit outside the norm. Most of us know how to row 1,000 meters, what kind of pace we should have, even when we're trying to do more work beyond that. But 1,200 meters kind of changes the ball game a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of pacing strategies come out of a workout like this. And then, yep, you read it right. It's 60 bar-facing burpees coming off that rower. That's just going to be a steady pace. Can we have athletes who can work through that without stopping at all and finding some kind of rhythm, being that there are a lot of competitions going on this time of year, and the open with that coming up, I like to have the standard of the bar-facing burpee just for people to practice and get used to. If you have newer athletes and they've never been exposed to more than 30 burpees or something like that, let's scale by reducing the rep scheme, okay? Just so they're not overwhelmed, because that can be demoralizing if you are a newer athlete. And then we close out the workout with the same number, 60 push press. So we'll take it from the floor to the shoulder, and then from there, we're asking that they drive and they squeeze their butt. Let's try to stay away from re-dipping into a jerk on this day, okay? So it's 60 push press. The weight selection that they use for that, when they're fresh, really the barbell should be light enough that an athlete can do 10, 15, 20 reps. If we find that after they do the row and the burpee and their first set is a set of 5 and they really had to grind for it, that's going to be too heavy, and that's going to be really tough to stay within our time goal on this workout. I believe we had like 12 to 16 minutes, all right? So we can adjust these rep schemes to fit that, but that's going to be a good, a tough chipper, no doubt. So that's Wednesday, and then Thursday, we're going to come back to the double kettlebell work if you have enough equipment for your classes. But this is a workout where we can sub out. We can do double dumbbell cleans, all right? Whenever I write kettlebell cleans, we just assume that it's going to be from a hang position, all right? But if we do dumbbells, just do it from the hang, or even if you use a barbell today, we're going to do everything from the hang, all right? We don't need the full range of motion today or for that Thursday. And then it's going to have the rep scheme that increases, so 3, 6, 9, 12, as far as an athlete can make it in 9 minutes between those two, all right? So it kind of starts off where it is manageable, but then when we get to that round of 15 and beyond, we have to start thinking about breaking up reps, all right? But really, we want our athletes to get good practice on that kettlebell clean. In the warm-up, we practice with double kettlebell Russian swings so that they can have some kind of gauge of how to follow a kettlebell down and drive it up, okay? But 9 minutes, and then we'll close out our class with some active shoulder recovery after doing all of those cleans. And then, like I said at the beginning of this video, Friday we have Karen, so 150 wall balls, one of the best single modality tests that we can have out there. We learn a lot from it, and then we can really develop a game plan following that up. If it went a lot better, great, you improved maybe a weakness that you had, but we do know that this can tend to get into a lot of our athletes' heads, and it is a big weakness for a lot of gyms and affiliates. So we can target that, try to develop a plan for our athletes, and work on the skill of cycling multiple reps. But it'll be cool to kind of compare where we're at, all right? So Friday will be Karen, and then post-workout is going to be focused on recovery, especially after utilizing the quads and the legs like that throughout the week. And then we'll close out the week on Saturday. If you do have a class, I've built a fun one for you guys. There's an individual version and a partner version. Multiple movements, so rope climbs, calorie bike, kettlebell swings, just traditional kettlebell swing, and then jump rope each round. It's going to be a 20-minute AMRAP for both individuals or partners. You can just decide based on what the class looks like for you and equipment that you might be limited to. Maybe the partner variation will be better suited for you and your gym. Okay, so we'll close out the week with the fun one there. That's what we're looking at. Let's get after those benchmarks and see, kind of where things have progressed throughout the year, and then we'll have something to look at and go from there. All right, have fun.